Okay, the title of this video is The Inequality of Equality, because people, victims, narcissists are crying, pouting, rioting, looting, because they don't think that they are being treated equally with somebody else. During this time of year, 4th of July in this country, it amazes me how Americans do not know their history. On July 5th, 1776, who or what was the highest lawful authority of the day? Was it a president? No, they didn't have one. Was it a governor? No, they didn't have one of those either. A senator? No, not that either. Constitution? Nope, that didn't come into being for another 11, 12 years. What was the highest lawful authority on July 5th, 1776? It was the individual law-abiding citizen, the man living on the land, sovereign man, fulfilling his desires of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He and she were the highest law, and still is today. It's just that Americans do not know their lawful position, and they unfortunately are seeking what they think is equality, but in actuality it's inequality. Why would you lower yourself to want to be equal with someone else? You are unique. When God programmed your DNA, He broke the mold. Why would you want to be equal with somebody? Satan and his minions are masters of pitting people against themselves as they, the Satan and his minions, revel in the chaos. Both of them view people as pawns or prey to feed upon. The leftists and the liberal proponents are prostitutes of the elite, the pimp, and they don't even realize that the pimp do not care for them, or the pimps in this case. CNN, the cockroach news industry, I do believe that's what it's called, cockroach news industry, and company, do not realize that they are the prostitutes of Satan and his minions, and they will have nothing when everything is said and done. Years ago, before Israel, the nation of Israel, entered into the land of Canaan to take the property from the indigenous people, by the order of God, 12 spies were sent in, and all 12 obeyed the instructions of God. But unfortunately, only 2 believed the doctrinal promises. 10 of them focused on the obstacles and whined as victims. 2 of them focused on the opportunity and worked as victors. God awarded the victors, Joshua and Caleb. I'm sure you know their names. And God dumped the victims. And I'm sure you don't know their names, the 10. I don't, unless I'd cheat and look in the Bible. You see, the victim mentality of the 10 demanded equality of outcome without the work. God works with those who seek to help themselves. Proverbs 17:26, it says, also to punish the just is not good. Okay, so that's pretty understandable. But the second half says, nor, so this is not good either, to strike princes for equity. What does that mean, to strike princes for equity? It's to go on strike for princes, politicians, for equality. Now, the thoughts that I'm going to give, I recognize that I will not be able to help the narcissist of the present movement, the rioters and looters, because they are looking for opportunities to do this, seeking to get something for nothing. And I realize that they are beyond help, these narcissists. Exodus 23 verse 2 says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. So there's the Bible prohibition. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. So the Bible, amazingly to me, has all the answers to all the questions posed by man. And looking at the present situation in our nation, where a bunch of, brain-dead Autobahns, clones, parasites off of the elitist are screaming, crying, pouting, rioting, looting for equality. I'm telling you, why would you want that? The inequality of equality. And what triggered this is the possibility of a fake video of George Floyd. I mean, I saw the video once and I could quickly see, oh man, what terrible actors. Terrible actors. Faked, staged. I mean, and if a person says, well, how do you know it was? Well, haven't you watched Hollywood? They know how to make it look like they're killing somebody. Do they kill them in Hollywood? It's kind of funny, the George Floyd, and they're trying to defund the police and everything. At the funeral of whoever was in the casket, if anybody, it was a closed casket. At the funeral, they had a police escort. Why would they have a police escort? And were people wearing masks? Were they social distancing? Was there more than 10 people? There were several people who could not have a funeral for their loved one during the time where they gave up their liberties for funeral during the pandemic. It's interesting that Minneapolis, Minnesota has a Democratic governor, a Democrat for a mayor, and a Democrat for the police chief, but amazingly, Trump is being blamed. Is there a possibility the leftists and the media industry are stoking the fire of unrest? Could it be that there will be another staged event or false flag to create more civil unrest until the election? Adolf Hitler in 1933, as reported here, appointed Hermann Goering Minister of the Interior. His first orders were to defund and eliminate police departments so they would not interfere with his brown shirts, whose mission it was to riot, burn, beat up, and kill citizens in order to sway the election. I would dare say we're going to see more stuff going on. And are the agitators here being paid by George Soros, like many of the migrant caravan about a year or so ago? I would dare say you need to question everything that you see by the national news industry. As I said, CNN, I think, does stand for Cockroach News Network. ABC is all big cockroaches. NBC is nothing but cockroaches. And ABC is, or CBS is Cockroach Broadcasting Service with the all-seeing eye of Horus looking right at you. Person says, well, I'm sure these people would be offended by your comments about cockroaches. Well, I'll apologize to a cockroach when one tells me that he was offended by my comments. You see, the difference between a cockroach and the journalists of these industries, is that at least a cockroach will run and hide when the light is shown on them. These people, in their arrogance, will not even bat an eye. And in fact, they will rub it in your face. I saw a very brief, and I don't watch these news outlets when they are in the original state. I may pick up some things here on YouTube. But they had supposedly a second grade teacher of George Floyd. Yeah, second grade teacher. Her name was Waynell Sexton. What a weird name for a person. Waynell, drop the W, Waynell Sexton. You see, these people are arrogant perverts rubbing it right in your face. Now, this here person seems to be one of a quintuplet in that one looks like her was a Sandy Hook substitute teacher. Another one looked like her at the Orlando nightclub shooting. Another one was at the New York synagogue. Another one was at the Oklahoma church shooting. I mean, there must have been a quintuplets of females because they all look, or are they crisis actors that get paid for their deception? You know, what is the common element of these false flags, these pandemic and the riots? What is the common element? It's the loss of liberty of the highest lawful authority in our country, law-abiding people. That is the common element. It is the loss of liberty of the common law-abiding person in this country. What is the motive for the demand for equality? What is the motive? I'll tell you what the motive is. It's not equality. It's for special favors at the expense of others. It's somebody trying to get something for nothing. If you really want to educate yourself about these ideas, about police, so-called brutality against the blacks and all this stuff, I would suggest that you find YouTube, get on YouTube and search out Larry Elder. He has a documentary that's just been released called Uncle Tom. Larry Elder is a very, very articulate man, and he will give you enough document evidence to show that what is the real problem in the black arena. What is the real problem? It's a lack of fathers. That's what it is. And he will show you these things if you pay attention to this man who's very articulate, very well informed, but yet the liberals would call him an Uncle Tom. Beware, my friend, beware of the trap that gravitates to socialistic tribalism. It's one tribe pitted against another. No, liberty is for the individual. Unique individual under exercising their sovereignty, recognizing the liberties that we have been blessed with in our country. When one piglet is fighting another piglet over the faucets on the sow, neither of them are getting the benefit from the sow when they're fighting. If people would wake up and realize, hey, when somebody is pitting us against each other, and the biggest promoters, the biggest instigators of racism is government policy and the news industry. The cockroaches of CNN and company and the like. You see, no government, whatever that is, but no government can give anyone riches or rights unless either is stolen from somebody else. That's the only way. Government does not do anything productive. Nothing productive. You see, and the biggest promoters of racial tension will be forced government policy and the news industry from their select coverage and their bald-faced lies that they put in front of people. It took Nancy Pelosi 34 years to get offended by the Confederate statues. Amazing. What is she? She's nothing but a cheap opportunist, a parasite. You see, the FBI discovered that the number one occupation of Antifa is state-sponsored teachers. That's right. State-sponsored teachers with the bully agenda of the public so-called education, where these scum will influence young skulls full of mush without being challenged by somebody of equal or superior mindset to dispel the lies that they influence little children. Jesus Christ said that if you offend a little one, and I would dare say this is offensive to little ones, then you are worthy to be thrown in the depths of the sea with a millstone wrapped around your foot. These people, amazingly, are trying to start another civil war because they were offended by the first civil war, which wasn't civil at all. See, what is the problem? The problem is freedom. You see, voluntary integration is a freedom of choice. Forced integration is a freedom from choice. Where these agenda of today is forcing something against the liberty of the sovereign man or woman living on this land. In part 2, I'm going to go a little bit further into these ideas and hopefully give you some knowledge to combat the foolishness of equality, the inequality of equality.